Hey everyone! We're bringing you another two-part video this week, as well as another game where Dopa's teammates are all losing their lanes, so it's up to him to carry. The first part will be laning phase, and the second part will be mid and late game. We have plenty of 200 IQ Dopa moments in here, so get ready to learn. The matchup Dopa is playing is TF vs Ahri, with the Ahri player being GBM from Team Royal Youth. Let's do a quick matchup breakdown and give both champions submissions. TF and Ahri are both mid-range control mages, with Ahri doing more damage with a full combo, especially at level 6 as TF's ult doesn't do any damage. Also, TF has slightly more wave clear and slightly shorter cooldowns. Knowing these things, TF's missions will be: Mission 1, push the wave as much as possible. Getting the push advantage does a lot in this matchup, so TF wants to abuse the slight wave clear advantage that he has to push the wave. Mission 2, play around cooldowns. Since Ahri's wave clear main trading tool is on her Q, TF wants to look for trades when her Q is down. Then mission 3, don't die to ganks. Ahri is a very snowbally matchup. If she gets ahead, this lane can be really hard. Also, giving kills to the jungler can be even worse because they can use that gold advantage to kill other lanes easier, which can be game changing. Alright, now Ahri's missions. Mission 1, thin the wave as much as possible. Mission 2, play around TF's pick a card. And mission 3, look for burst trades. Okay, we have our game plans, let's get into the gameplay. As laning starts, the first thing Dopa does is walk up to Ahri and throw a red card while Ahri throws her Q. This was really good because he hit the 3 melee minions as well to start mission 1. Ahri's Q hit some minions as well, so this first trade was pretty good for the both of them. After that, Dopa works on missions 1 and 2, pulling a red card and hitting 5 of the 6 minions with it. TF pick a card has a shorter cooldown than Ahri Q, so he's taking advantage of that and using it as soon as it's back up. Ahri notices the red cards he keeps throwing though, and uses her next Q on the whole wave to thin it for her own mission 1. Then for this next trade, look at the spacing from Dopa. Most players would be a lot further back here, worried about Ahri's Q. But he knows her Q is down, so he's going to stand close enough that he can throw a red card at these minions when Ahri walks up for these last hits, getting another efficient trade. This kind of spacing isn't TF specific, it applies to any champion. When you have a cooldown advantage and want to look for a trade, you have to be ready to contest the CS they go for, or they can just back away. Also, by throwing the red card at the minions and not Ahri, the minions won't aggro him. Alright, as we move on to the second wave, Dopa has an advantage by 1 minion and looks for a trade right away onto the Ahri, again taking advantage of his lower cooldowns. He wants to be using pick a card every time it's up, especially since he can also use it to get mana back. Also, going for a trade before all the minions are here makes it so no ranged minions will be hitting him, which are the ones you normally take the most damage from. Ahri trades back nicely here with a Q of her own though. When it comes to mission 3, this will be the perfect time to talk about it. The enemy jungler is Rengar, who doesn't gank too well in mid early on, as he can't jump from the brushes all the way into the middle of the lane. So that's all Dopa has to do for now, is stay in the middle. But if it wasn't Rengar, he would ward topside here since his Lee Sin is pathing to bot side and he already has a ward there. Anyways, right after that, look at his spacing again. Notice how he's not standing out of range of Ahri's Q. If he did that, Ahri could just wait for him to walk up for CS, throw her Q, and be out of range of TF's auto attack so he couldn't trade back. By standing close like this, when Ahri looks to use Q, Dopa gets hit by one portion of it but can dodge the second part and trade back with a blue card of his own. Then when Ahri walks into his wave for one last auto attack, he makes sure to return an auto as well. He uses blue card here since he's been spamming red cards, it's time to get some mana back. They both hit level 2 now, and Dopa uses one more blue card for some mana. Watch Ahri's movement right after he throws it though. Ahri's mission 2 is to play around Dopa's pick a card, so as soon as he throws it, she walks up to look for a trade. Dopa respects it, backs up, and uses his Q to grab this minion instead. This is very standard laning in higher elo, but in lower ranks, players don't respect enemy cooldowns enough and also don't punish enemy cooldowns. So they walk up and auto for last hit when they should be using an ability to avoid getting punished like Dopa did here. After Ahri throws that Q, he's safe to walk up and throw another red card in Q to finish off that wave, making sure to keep his push advantage for mission 1. Then with the same spacing we were talking about earlier, Dopa throws a quick gold card in Q, hitting almost the whole wave. Now Dopa's starting to build up a pretty nice minion lead, especially with the cannon minion still alive. But he used a lot of mana to do it, so he throws 2 more blue cards. For this next trade, Dopa goes for some quick movement from behind the minions to look for a fast blue card onto Ahri, but she knew it was coming, landing the charm as soon as he comes out from behind the minions to throw it. He gets a nice burst trade for mission 3. Dopa responds with a Q and an auto of his own though, not losing the trade too hard. Ahri would be able to follow up on this, but Dopa has such a big wave behind him that she can't. This is one of the reasons it's so important to get a minion lead in this matchup. Another reason it's so important is that the more minions you have, the harder it is to get hit by the charm. That's why we have only seen Ahri throw one of them. Dopa has had so many minions that this was the first opening he gave and she capitalized on it. Anyways, after that, Dopa is running out of mana again from keeping this push lead, so he quickly clears the wave while Ahri's abilities are on cooldown, using minion dematerializer on the ranged one and Q on the wave. If you didn't know, you want to use all the minion dematerializers on the ranged ones so you can one-shot them around level 8 or 9 depending how far ahead or behind you are. Alright, it's time for some of that Dopa magic. We're going to switch to Ahri's point of view for this. If you were Ahri and saw Dopa run out of vision like this with no mana, what would you think he's doing right now? You should be thinking he's going to recall here, as everyone would. Even pro players like this Ahri. Let's watch what he really does. He walks back into this brush and starts spam pinging his jungler who's on bot side of the map and waits in this brush for him to get close. Then once he's close enough, pulls a gold card and flashes onto the Ahri since she doesn't have cleanse, getting his Lee Sin an easy kill. Okay, so how did he know Ahri would stay and push another wave after this one? He knew because the next wave wasn't a cannon wave, which is when most mid laners want to take their recall. This is because if you recall in a cannon wave, you won't miss much CS on the way back to lane, as the cannon minion takes so long to kill in the tower. Plus it takes longer for the enemy mid to shove the cannon wave. It essentially gives you a recall where you can miss 0 CS. So Dopa knew he would stay to push this wave in and try to deny him CS, but he patiently waited for his jungler to come, pinging him 30 seconds before the play even happened, which caught GBM by surprise. I thought this was really cool because even though they have both been playing the lane near perfectly, Dopa gets a lead just with this really smart play that you never see anyone else do. This is what separates him from other players. Alright, now Dopa has no flash and is about to hit level 6, so the game dynamic is going to change completely. We have a ton of stuff to go over, so that will be in part 2. This part was a nice trading fundamental refresher on how to use your wave clear and cooldown advantage to get a minion lead and pressure in the lane, and then a drop of creativity from Dopa catching pro players off guard. In the next part, we'll continue this and show you guys how he carries this game super hard with some sweet macro. That's going to be it for this one. We hope to see you next week for part 2. Thanks for watching.